I'm slamming this week is snow tubing. Snow tubing, number one, is not made for men of my stature. I can't deal with this Madden 21 game, man. It's so terrible.
Y'all act like football stops being played when y'all leave Mecklenburg County. We play football here in Cabarrus County too. And then even though it was raining, I was rolling around in the yard doing freaking grass angels out there.
Hallelujah!
Hey,
Oh my God!
hey, all I'm gonna say is make sure your wife, your girlfriends, your mistress, look, I'm back.
See, I got my hat on backwards. And it ain't because I'm a G either. It's because I'm angry. I'm going to tell y'all why I'm angry.
So I'm gonna have to start. This is gonna be a large group of people. So I might have to like walk around with like a slime gun or a slime cannon, or maybe put the slime in like an old school super soaker.
Joe Hughes! Joe Hughes! Cowboy Joe! You know it's a big night if Cowboy Joe's here. My goodness.
Y'all always put me on blast first, man. Who my slime in? Good question.
All right, welcome to tonight's episode, a very special Thanksgiving episode of Football Focus Weekly. I understand a lot of people, maybe some of our regulars, are watching the Hornets game, which they're down by 4 right now to Orlando. A lot of family in. Let's hope so. A lot of family in town, you know, a lot of different things going on the day before Thanksgiving. But to the people that are watching, thank you for your support as always. And we'll thank a lot of different people later on in the show. I do want to thank the one person that's left a comment so far. Let's see who that is. Oh, Big Shelby. Big Shelby checking in. Big time game Friday in the Jungle. Traditional Thanksgiving practice under the lights tomorrow night. Excited for the kids. Can't wait to kick off. Well, there you go. Big Shelby's going to be a little late joining us tonight. But apparently he's not too busy to where he can leave a comment at the beginning of the show. So appreciate that. Oh, here we go. Montrell. Thanks for watching, Montrell. Crest in the house. All right, we got some Cleveland County love kicking off the show tonight. That's always good to see. All right, thank you for watching, Montrell. We'll talk about your big game with South Point coming up here in just a little bit. All right, so tonight with us so far, we've got the engine and the professor, Kenneth McClamrock. What's up, man? Good to have you.
Yes, sir. Good to be back.
Absolutely. And we've got the queen.
I like it, the queen.
It's heavy.
All right, good to have you, queen. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll start with round 3 of the playoffs. We'll take a look at that and review those games. Of course, we'll start in 4A first. So last Friday night, Huff defeated Mallard Creek 31-17. I saw some people saying that game was closer than they thought, but Huff was up 31-3 in the fourth quarter where they started taking out starters. And then Mallard Creek got a couple of touchdowns against, some of the Husky backups. And then we got East Forsyth with their third shutout in a row in the playoffs, shutting out rival Glenn 14-0. And then we go to the other side of the bracket. We got Weddington continuing their run against another Union County Conference opponent, this time playing Cuthbertson, and winning 34-21. And then we have Chambers over Porter Ridge 28-10. So what are our thoughts on those games? Kenneth, I'll let you go first there.
Well, I think we're starting to see the cream rise to the top, and we're seeing the big daddies really starting to showcase just how good they are. This is where not just talent on a first team level begins to come to play, but it's your depth of talent as well. Because guys are hurt, they're banged up, their ankles are sore, their backs are sore, their hamstrings are tight, and the teams that have that second and even third string player that can fill in and still perform to high levels have an advantage over the teams that don't have that depth. You also start to see some of the coaching matchups start to take place. So a huge win for Huff. They are a team on a mission right now. East Forsyth, their defense is playing out of their minds, maybe one of the best defenses we've seen in a while. So that is a huge matchup that I don't think that a whole lot of people is given enough excitement to. That's a huge, huge game. You see a 1-13 and you don't think it is, but East Forsyth is playing lights out, and it will be super interesting to see how Huff's offense responds to a team that has pitched 3 shutouts in a row in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest questions in that game because we know Huff's defense is very strong. And we know, looking at the last couple of results for East Forsyth's offense, outside of the first round, they put up 17 against Ardrey Kell and 14 against Glenn. So, they're doing enough to get by on offense, but
I don't think that they've seen a defense as fast as the Huskies defense is going to be Friday night.
I agree with that for sure. And then down on the other side here with, let's see, we got Chambers. They did what they needed to do to get past Porter Ridge. A good victory of 28-10, and Weddington over Cuthbertson 34-21. Pretty much went like the first matchup during the season where Weddington defeated Cuthbertson 28-13. Queen, you got any thoughts on those 4A games there?
I was at the Chambers Porter Ridge game, and that to me could have shaped out to be a better game than people thought it was going to be. The first half, they kept it really close, but they just couldn't. There were just the simple mistakes that you can't make against a team like Chambers, and that just really ended up killing them in the end. They missed 2 field goals, one in the first half. Both in the first half, and I think those 2 field goals that would have otherwise kept it closer just sort of, I think, kind of defeated them a little bit, and you could sort of see that in the second half because Chambers really let them have that one, just competition wise. So
all right, good stuff on that. Okay, let's see here. I got any thoughts on these? We'll preview Huff East Forsyth in detail in just a little bit. I think it was a good season for Mallard Creek. I mean, no one had them going to the 3rd round. So kudos to Coach Tinsley and those guys for, putting that, run together, for them. And hopefully they played a lot of younger guys. They have a lot of guys returning next season. And hopefully they can, build on that and get some, good playoff experience to use moving forward. Cuthbertson, once again, Coach Kavanaugh doing an awesome job. Once again, no one saw a 27 seed going to a 3rd round, but we talked about them all year about how they've been competitive and a lot of games against good teams, and that started bearing out, here in the playoffs. So, big time kudos to those guys. And then, big time kudos to Porter Ridge, another, well-coached Mike Hurts team making a run. The upset over Grimsley, of course, was, probably the biggest, win of the season for those guys. And, great job for them as well. So, on the eastern side of things, it's crazy. You see, you got a 16 seed Leesville Road going against a 20 Rolesville, who was in the state championship game in the spring against Chambers. And then we got Cardinal Gibbons, who we're familiar with. They're advancing and they're playing Panther Creek. So The Raleigh area is probably pretty excited. So they're doing pretty well. I will mention those games briefly here in just a second once we start doing previews. But down in 3A, we got some interesting things going on. We got South Point defeating Forest View in a rematch 27-7. Crest winning 35-14. Dudley all over Kings Mountain 36-10. But that game was close for a half. And then Statesville over High Brighton 42-0. So we'll go into some order. Kenneth, what are your thoughts on those games?
Once again, I mean, you start to see those teams that are traditionally good teams because of their depth, because of their continuity among their coaching staffs that are rising to the top. The South Points, the Crest, the Statesvilles. Those are teams that year in and year out are consistently good. They consistently have kids that not only stay in building to play, but the kids want to play. And a team like South Point, Joe mentioned this last week on the show, South Point is built for the playoffs with the way that they play, with the style that they play, that hard, physical, red bone, I think they call it, offense. Man, you don't want to play those guys when it's cold outside. Defensive linemen don't want to keep picking themselves up off the ground because they're being blocked in the kneecaps every single play. It's a hard, physical style. Those kids believe in what they're doing, and you're seeing it. You see it every year this time as we get deeper into the playoffs.
Absolutely. South Point going to face Crest in a rematch of a game.
Huge game.
Yeah, and the first time it was a great game with Crest winning 27-26. We'll talk more about that game when we get to the previews. And then Dudley over Kings Mountain 36-10. That game was close for a half, and me and producer were at Shelby last week, and we had Shelby people, including Big Shelby himself, asking us at halftime what was going on at Dudley, and I said, I don't know, we're here. But Dudley, kicked it into high gear in the second half and ran away with that one. And then Statesville over High Brighton. We talked about that game being a, matchup of two different styles, and Statesville's athleticism and spread offense, obviously was too much for High Brighton in that one. So High Brighton, pretty young team this year, made a nice run to the third round. Have to commend them, on that. But that sets up Dudley Statesville that we'll talk about, in just a little bit. You look at the eastern side of things, you got Eastern Alamance, which has been a big-time, favorite in the 3A on that side of things, hosting Jacksonville. And then we've got, on the other side, J.H. Rose hosting Scotland, which, I tell you, Scotland in the playoffs, man. It don't matter what seed they are. Once they get in, they just turn into a machine. And last week they knocked off the number 2 seed, 29-26, so Coach Bailey and those Scots, man, you don't want to see them in the playoffs. They're a tough out for sure. Let me see. I thought producer, let's see, he's trying to, there he is. What's up?
Glad to be here, man. Another nice Wednesday.
Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you. All right, so in 2A last week, me and producer witnessed Shelby defeating East Gaston 64-15. We left the game when it was 57-7, full disclosure. Actually, it was 50-7, and then there was another touchdown scored while we were in the parking lot. So it was a big win there for Shelby. Reedsville defeating Hendersonville 50-35, setting up a big-time Shelby and Reedsville matchup. We'll preview a little later on. And then we've got Maiden over Salisbury 32-20. And East Surrey over Monroe 10-9 in a game I thought was going to be an offensive show. Shows what I know. Producer, you want to talk about your thoughts on Shelby and East Gaston?
So I'll start off by saying, just to give a little backstory, I've been kind of doing this high school football coverage thing a while, and I'd actually never, even being from Charlotte, I'd never been to Shelby. Never been on Shelby's campus, never attended a game or anything like that. So I was literally my first experience. But I will say, I was impressed. You know, they're a complete unit. They're not a team that just leans on one side of the ball. They can score. They can stop people. It's exactly what you want to make a playoff run. So you know, I was thoroughly impressed. You know, and you really don't. I was telling Pat Man at the game, you really don't see lopsided victories like that typically that deep in the playoffs. That's usually something you see maybe in the first round or some regular season games. No, that was a completely lopsided game. Shelby in control from the get go. So they're built for a deep playoff run. Thoroughly impressed.
Yeah, and the thing that I thought was most impressive about them, and just from an offensive standpoint, is the fact that they can run and pass. Of course, I heard a lot about their passing game with Mr. Lee at the quarterback spot, who we interviewed earlier this season. And Kenneth, you saw them, you know, light up against South Point, yeah, and you know, that's impressive in its own right. But the run game was really good against East Gaston. They ran a lot of outside zone. I mean, East Gaston had a light box. They're trying to stop the passing game, so they just ran outside zone. I mean, they were walking for 10 yards a carry. When you look at some of the highlights that I got up on Facebook, you'll see several times that you know, the running back is untouched until he hits maybe the third level. So that was impressive to me. And that's what they'll need, you know, going up against a Reedsville team that's very talented and has its own tradition. But we'll talk about that, and hopefully we'll have Big Shelby on that time and give him a chance to, you know, weigh in on his thoughts, you know, on that matchup. I do want to mention East Surrey and Monroe. Great season for Monroe. I was shocked when I saw the final score of that game. Apparently, you know, the coaches did a great job of shutting each other's offense down. But I think East Surrey won that with a late field goal. Tim Winters drove up to East Surrey and did a good job, you know, giving updates for that game. And, you know, East Surrey moves on to play Maiden, which, you know, their win over Salisbury is impressive. Yeah, go ahead, Ken, if you got something to say on that.
No, I mean, we talked about this all season, that the 2A West bracket was the toughest bracket in the state, not named the 4A West bracket. I mean, the Maidens and the Salisburys and the Shelbys and the Reedsvilles and the East Surreys. And these scores are indicative of just how talented they are. When you see Monroe score 57 and 60 in the first two rounds, and remember that was versus a really, really good J.M. Robinson football team, and then to be held to 9 points. It shows that East Surrey is more than just throwing the football up in the mountains. It shows that they can play some defense as well. When you see a Salisbury get knocked off, I mean, Salisbury not only the defending state champion, but the home of maybe the top football player in the state of North Carolina, and the Walker kid. I mean, that is an incredible performance by Maiden High School.
Absolutely. That score shocked a lot of people, too. They felt like Salisbury was the favorite in that one. But Maiden said, no, we're going to defend our home turf, and we want to keep playing. So kudos to those guys. So on the eastern side of things, you got Princeton and St. Paul's. And I saw some St. Paul's highlights. I saw a young man on Twitter tag me with his stuff, and you know, he's a running back and receiver and DB. Impressive young man. Really good player. And St. Paul's has a pretty good team. They run a balanced offense. So they're saying Princeton is probably about a 10-point favorite in that one. But, I mean, St. Paul's is, you know, went into Whiteville, and that's not an easy place to play. And they pulled out a victory last week on the road. So they're not going to be scared, that's for sure. And then on the other side, you got Northeastern and Wallace Rose Hill. We know Wallace Rose Hill and their strong tradition down in 2A. It's not going to be an easy out for Northeastern, for sure. But Northeastern will score. 52, 50, and 57 so far in the playoffs. So get your popcorn ready for that one. That's going to be a fun game for sure. down on the east side of things. All right, so let's jump back to 4A and let's go to start previewing our next set of games here. Some fantastic football that we're going to look at here. So first of all, we got Huff, the number 1 seed, taking on East Forsyth, the 13 seed. And Kenneth, you talked about, some of this already. But you mentioned that the East Forsyth offense against the Huff defense, one of the big things we're going to have to, really look at in this football game.
You have to be so disciplined on offense when you play a Huff. I mean, the whole idea behind their 4-2-5 defense is to get teams to run wide. And when you're an undisciplined offense, running backs want to run wide. That's what you do in middle school. That's what you do in Pop Warner. You have to be extremely you have to have a lot of faith in your offensive line. You have to be disciplined with your eyes and with your hips and with your feet. This is a tall task for East Forsyth. I mean, they are playing lights out right now. But the question is, and last week, we all agreed that Huff was not going to look past Mallard Creek. There was too much rivalry there. There was too much respect for Mallard Creek's program. But now with Chambers being 1 week away, will some of those Huff kids start to look down the road to Chambers? And that's going to be a big thing this week. I think that Coach Jenkins is preaching. We're not. East Forsyth, shut out. But we all know in the back of kids' minds, they don't always listen to what the coaches are saying. And sometimes when you start to get to this point in the season, what's this, week 14, week 15, game 14, kids can sometimes start to zone out those voices that they've heard now every single day since August, since June, since July, since the springtime. This is a huge test, man. If Huff wants to prove that they are legitimate state championship and even regional caliber program, they need to win this week, and they need to win it convincingly, honestly.
Wow. Okay. Queen, this is your game this week. What are your thoughts here?
Well, like you guys have pretty much already alluded to, it's going to be on East Forsyth's, offense. I was just, researching this game earlier, and found out too that for Huff, they've never won a state championship, and they've been, to multiple playoffs. And so, this is it's time for them to prove, that they are capable of going all the way. And the best thing for them to do is like Kenneth said, they need to win convincingly. If they want people to take them seriously, that's what they'll have to do. I feel like it's going to be a low scoring game because I really feel like because there are a lot of questions on East Forsyth's offense, their defense is going to probably be ramped up. So I'm expecting this to be a low scoring game. Either way, I'm fine, but it's a huge game for both of these teams. So. And
you like defense, right?
I love defense. I do. I really do. I like to see scoring, but once you start scoring too much, I just feel like sometimes it's just kind of like, okay, well. But when it's good defense, and good defense can mean a lot of things, but I love to see it. I love to see it.
Don't be surprised, Sheree, if this isn't a 2 or 3 touchdown differential. I'll just put that out there. I don't know who our picks are. Don't be surprised if it's not a 17-0 type game.
Wow. Okay. Producer, you got any thoughts you want to add on this one?
Favor the Huskies for the record.
Okay. I was going to kind of echo Kenneth's sentiments that, Huff, we know all about them. They just can't get caught looking ahead and, can't get caught in the moment because if I'm not mistaken, someone can correct me here. Maybe this is Huff's best season ever that I can think of. I mean, to this point, I don't think they've ever gotten to this point being undefeated. So, they can't just look ahead. They got to take it one game at a time and not look at what's, in front of them. So, and, and do their research. Forsyth got a pretty good tradition themselves lately. So, they can't look past them and just say, oh, they're not as solid. They're not, on our level. And They just can't do that. And I think, they know they have the talent to win. They just have to go out and execute.
Yeah, I agree. And to your point, producer, it's the teams that, are outside of Charlotte. Like you said, Kenneth, we knew Mallard Creek, they were going to be up for. And it sounds crazy in the fourth round of playoffs to wonder, if the focus is going to be there. But, sometimes you get to this point, and like you said, Kenneth, with kids, and the season's gone on a long time, and most schools have moved on to basketball, and, we got a camp that we're trying to promote, and kids are trying to get offers and all this stuff going on, and you're still playing, and you're one of the few still playing, and you want that ring. But it's one of those things with high school kids, man. The Huff coaching staff is really going to have to keep those guys focused on the task at hand. Your senior leaders are really going to have to keep those guys in line and focused. East Forsyth is very well coached. I've said that a lot. 3 shutouts is not easy. I don't care who you're playing, especially in the playoffs when, everyone is at their best, and you're playing the better teams, which makes it even more impressive. They've got enough offense. Their dual threat quarterback is a really, really fun kid to watch. Number one, I enjoyed watching some film on him. So the thing about it, though, is, like you said, Huff's defensive speed. I think early on the key is going to be for East Forsyth. Can they find a way, to neutralize that? Are they, do they have enough, power up front to run maybe some power run game right at Huff to, try to neutralize the speed advantage that they have? I think that's the way that you would have to attack them. Throwing the football, we know Huff's secondary is, elite.
Their defensive line is elite at getting after the quarterback.
Right. So it's going to have to be a power run game. Keep, getting first downs, keep the Huff offense off the field. You flip it on the other side, East Forsyth playing very well on defense. Can Huff, be consistent enough in moving the football? Can they generate some big plays over the top? We know they have the ability with Hudson at quarterback, quick at receiver, J.T. Smith Jr., playing the multiple positions he can play. But, like you said, Queen, it leans toward a lower scoring game, for sure. Just off the respect of the coaching staffs, both defensive coordinators, and Chachi Sullivan and Aaron Beal for both teams, do an excellent job. And I'd be shocked if this game got into the 20s. But I was wrong about Monroe and East Surrey last week, so I'll probably be wrong about this too.
I think the final say for me on this, Pat, is the level of competition that the two teams have played. East Forsyth beat Roseville earlier in the year, and East shut out Audrey Kell. But they don't really have any other great win. Huff beat Myers Park to start the season. Huff has beaten Chambers. Huff has beaten Mallard Creek. Huff has beaten all these teams that traditionally are very good, very explosive. They've beaten the teams that run the crazy offenses like Lake Norman, and they've beaten the teams that run the spread offenses. Huff has shown every single week, and it seems like they're getting better every single week. Their kids are gaining confidence. But once again, will next week's potential matchup trip them up this week? That's the big question mark.
Good points. All right, couple comments. The Tim Pride saying East won't score on Huff unless it's against the second unit. Wow.
17-0. I called it.
All right. Let's see. Markel Riley adding, my senior year at Indy, we played East Forsyth and they had us down 21-0 at half. They are a team that will smack you in the mouth if you aren't disciplined, but Huff is disciplined. Okay, so then Markel also saying they ended up winning the game. So thank you for that, Markel. I appreciate that insight, man.
Love it.
Big Shelby's here with us. We'll bring him on if he's ready. Okay, he's ready.
What's going on?
What's up, man? Good to see you.
Can't call it, man. Can't call it.
All right, so we'll take a look at our next game in 4A West. We got number 3 Weddington hosting number 10 Chambers. This is me and producer's game, to the chagrin of many people on the CFI staff. Wanted to attend this game. The first thing I'll say is, after all these years of coverage, I have never been to Weddington. Somehow, I've never been there. Every time I've seen Weddington, it's been on the road. So, first time going to Weddington, so that's pretty cool. So excited about that. We're going to get there early. The Queen gave us a little bit of a rundown and said parking is a challenge. So I'll probably get there 2 hours before game time and sit in the car and eat my pregame meal, as producer likes to make fun of me about. But anyone got thoughts on this one?
I wanted to go to this game just because I've seen both of those teams multiple times, and I've learned that both of those teams have traditionally been second half teams. They come out slow in the first half and then they ramp it up. So I wanted to see, based on what weapons each offense has, who's going to be the team to edge this one out. Because first of all, I forgot that Chambers was ranked as low as they were, but that's neither here nor there. They both have decent run games. They both have people who can, fly to the ball on defense. So, this is really one of those games that, it's second half might be a shootout. You know what I mean? So, that's the reason I wanted to go to that game. But, either way, either game is going to be really good. But, yeah, that one, I can't wait to hear the updates on that one.
This is the game that everybody wanted to see 15 months ago. You remember it was going to be week 1 of the 2020 fall season, and everybody was excited because it was without a doubt the 2 top teams in the state, and Shipley and the Chambers and Power and all that kind of matchup. Well, we get to see it now in the 4th round, the week of Thanksgiving. Weddington is going back to being disciplined. Weddington is one of the most disciplined teams in the state. They win not because they're bigger than everybody. They win not because they're faster than everybody. They win because they do so many small things right. I'll never forget, we played them when I was at Central Cabarrus, and we had the ball down on the 7-yard line, and we called a route combination that everybody calls, just a smash combination. We put number 2 on a corner route, and number 1 ran what we call a now route, one step, and he looked, and the corner played hard on us. We saw it. The wide receiver coach says, "Coach, this is a touchdown." And I'll never forget, our wide receiver took 1 step up, 2 steps back, flashed his hands, just like he was coached to do. That's supposed to bring the corner up. And when the corner saw that, it was their second best wide receiver, who was not their starter corner. Immediately, he took off in a full sprint without looking at the quarterback to the back pylon. And by the time that our guy was going up to get a perfectly placed ball by our quarterback, he jumped up and punched through his hands. And I asked our cats, I said, what makes so impressive about that is that's their second best wide receiver. He's not even a starting DB, but he's doing that when he's not going up against himself in practice. But because he knows that down the goal line, that's a really common route combination. He expected it. He saw it. He reacted because of how well he's coached. You see them, a couple weeks later with the Bronco Nagurski Awards, and Weddington sits in front of us, and my kids are looking at me like, "Coach, is that the team that really beat us?" Because it's a bunch of Justin Bieber sitting in front of us. And I can promise you this, there were a whole lot of clips last spring of Chambers, then Vance beating Huff, and Chambers players talking junk about the suburbs. And Huff calling them that suburb school. Remember, there was the video that came out with the static and all that stuff. I can promise you Coach Cabone and his staff is showing those suburb comments and videos to his kids this week. That these Charlotte boys, once again, teams get hyped to play Charlotte. These Charlotte boys are going to come into our house. They're going to think that they're bigger and more athletic than us. But let me tell you, for Chambers, once again, it's a potential trap game. If they're looking ahead to the rematch versus Huff, if they have a bad snap on a punt or a bad kickoff, special teams could be the difference in this game this week, because Weddington is going to make very few mental mistakes. Chambers is going to have to play very well in this game. Weddington is going to have to play extremely well in this game. This is an incredible game, incredible matchup.
Absolutely. I love some of that insight there from the Weddington side of things. Producer Big Shelby, you guys got some thoughts on this one?
Just it's good to see. I mean, this is really going to come down to the X's and O's because there are no, jitters here. There's no playoff nervousness. Both of these teams have been to the top. You got two teams with recent championships, so they've been here. So there's no nervousness. So they're just gonna, it's gonna come down to the X's and O's. So I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, this will be a great game. Like Chambers is the defending champions in 4A, and I believe Weddington won the last 2 or 3 in 3A. So it'd be a good game, man. It kind of reminds me of like a Tim Duncan versus a Kevin Garnett type matchup. Because Weddington is going to Weddington is all fundamental. And Chambers like to do a lot of things. Chambers is a good program. They do a lot of things that intimidate you. So I feel like if Weddington doesn't get intimidated, it'll be one of those big games. I think this is one of the bigger games for them all season. Like Weddington is still showing that they were. It wasn't Will Shipley so much as it was the coaches. So I think Weddington is playing with. I think Weddington will continue to play with a chip on their shoulder since Will Shipley is gone. I feel like Chambers will play with a chip on their shoulder too because of how low they've been ranked and they are the defending champ. So I feel like that'll be one of the. I think that's the best game in the 4A bracket.
Sure, I think that was one of your videos you captured, right? Where the kid, you asked him about Shipley and them playing without him, and the kid said, "We're more than just."
Cal Parsons, because they were playing, I think, at Porter Ridge, and like their student section was like, "Y'all need Shipley," like and I was like, so I was asking him about that, and he was respectable about it, but you could tell that he felt some type of way, about them saying that, and I mean, the dude had, I think, 2 touchdowns in the second half. So, I mean, I think he made a statement pretty clear, like, and he actually plays defense too. I found that out the last time I was at Weddington, and he's all over. So I saw that, and he's gonna be watch out for that guy.
Yep, Kyle Parsons is a Queen City Senior Bowl selection at running back. Landon Backey, a Queen City Senior Bowl selection at receiver for Weddington. And then Makai Bigelow, a Queen City Senior Bowl selection at athlete for Chambers, as well as the young man you interviewed, Queen, last week, Cameron Kennedy. Comments on this game. Tim Pride saying Chambers all day. Weddington has never played a team of our caliber.
Ooh, I don't know about that one.
Oh, there you go,
They
Tim.
ain't go back down. I can promise you that.
No, not at all. Let's see. Markel, this is the game that was supposed to happen last year, like you said, Kenneth. Chambers plays a complete 4 quarters, and it's going to be a long night for Weddington. Okay. And then Karen got the pull for Chambers. So, Chambers, on this show, they'll get a lot of love. But Weddington guys, they're champions for a reason. They're champions for a reason. They're well coached, like you said. If you think about them in the mold of a Charlotte Catholic, that's where you gotta, place them in your mind, in my opinion.
As far as their discipline and their coaching and them doing the small things correctly.
Yeah, and teams like that, it's hard to blow anyone out, but much less in the 4th round of playoffs with championship pedigree on their field. I think it's gonna be a heck of a game. I'm not expecting a blowout, but
I think it's a low scoring game, Pat.
Low scoring? Okay. All right, good deal. Let's see. Let's jump to 3A West for our next breakdowns here. And first we're going to start with South Point and Crest in a rematch of a game that took place earlier this year where Crest won an incredible football game 27-26. I was hoping Joe would join us with his normal commentary, but he's probably covering some high school basketball or something tonight, so that's probably why he's not here. But you start looking at this one, man. Two really good running football teams. They know each other really well. I'm sure it's going to be a huge crowd at Crest. Big Shelby, I'm going to go to you first because this is your neck of the woods, sir.
Well, yeah, this is a great game. It's a rematch between these two teams. From what I seen last time, it seemed like South Point started out getting away. They started out doing things they wouldn't normally do. Like they was throwing the ball a lot more early, which is very shocking. Teams had some key turnovers. But yeah, this game's gonna come down to who can stop the run. Chris has an amazing running back in Amari Adams. South Point has an amazing running back in can't think of his name. Is his name Tyson Riley?
Yep, Tyson Riley.
Yeah, Tyson's an amazing back, man. So this is gonna be it's one of those Thanksgiving games you want to see, man. Hard running, power up front. It's gonna determine who wins up front on that O line and D line, man. It's gonna be. I'm looking for Crest to reign supreme, man. At this time of the year, like y'all said earlier, certain teams, certain staffs, man, they expect to be here. They used to be here. South Point, it won't be a pushover for Crest. I think that'll be a low-scoring game, but I just think from the history, it's hard beating the team twice. And I feel like if Crest comes out and plays Crest football, man, it'll be a good night for the Chargers.
So Crest won the first matchup, right?
Yeah, they won by a touchdown. My cousin had the last. He had to pick at the end of the game for Crest to win. So, like I was saying, South Point. I feel like Crest would have to make South Point throw the ball. South Point really doesn't want to throw it, but it seems like they've been throwing it more this year. But I think if you get Crest, if you get South Point to throw the ball 5 or 6 times, man, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, I agree. Me and producer saw South Point up close against Hickory Ridge, and yeah, not believing the forward pass.
But it's like I told you when they got into the playoffs, man. I said this team will be a scary team because I know our coaches were talking about today, man. I'm happy we don't got prepared for South Point anymore because it's like it doesn't even matter what kind of week of practice you have. Like it doesn't matter if you had the best 4 days of practice ever. Like you can't simulate what they do up front. Like they have a big nasty left tackle, big Sully. He's getting offense all over, man. So like you can't emulate what they do, man. And nobody wants to do it at this time of the year. So, but those two programs are very familiar. They always played each other, even when it was conference games and playoffs. So both teams are familiar with each other.
You know, Pep, I've coached at a lot of these historically great places. I've coached against Richmond County and Indy when they're in their heyday, and I've coached against Shelby, and I've coached against South Point and against Crest. And I'll tell you this, Crest in the playoffs was one of the most special places that I ever coached as an opposing head coach. Crest, there's just something about that when the team comes out of their locker room and they've got all these big monuments in their end zone of all their state championship teams. It is incredible to watch, and you almost get goosebumps watching them because you see how much energy the past teams of this program. It's a true program. You know, there are a lot of schools that are really good teams, but Crest is a program that out extends any coach or player. It just goes on and on and on and on. But South Point's the same way. When I coached against South Point in 2014, all of their coaches had on letter jackets, and all their letter jackets had on all of the state championships and regional championships and all these different district championships that they had won while that coach had been there. It was a phenomenal place to play. This is a special atmosphere. It's a special game. Webb just talked about it. This is what makes high school football great. It's the South Points at the Crest in the 4th round, Thanksgiving weekend. This is what makes high school sports so great.
Kenneth, where were you at when you coached against Shelby?
I was at North Mecklenburg.
Good stuff, Kenneth.
So we played them at North my first year, and then we went to Shelby the next year. That's where I saw the flips, man, begin the game. It's still the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's why I wanted to get to Shelby so bad, just to see that for pregame.
It's all about the power, man. We have a good power. We have a good night.
We definitely noticed that. Definitely took note of that pile.
Yeah, man. Boy, one thing it's a little off subject, but our manager, man, his name is Greg Jones. He's been doing that. He's been being the manager at Shelby High, equipment manager, probably since he was 10th grade, man. He's been doing it 40 or 50 plus years. And that's one thing. And that's one thing he emphasizes to the T. The rich tradition of the pile, man. He makes sure I remember one game we came out late and we didn't do it. And he literally cussed all the coaches out because that's how traditional it is.
Wow.
No matter if it's a away game or a home game, like the people, like he wants to see it because it's just like rich tradition, man. So it's fun though. Well, I can't say you don't want to be at the bottom of that thing. I will tell you that.
I thought about that.
Because naturally, like when we do it, the linemen be at the bottom, but it's like it start at daylight. You see all the light, you hear the band, and as the power gets heavier and heavier, it almost feel like you go deaf and blind. and that's how it is. Like if you're at the bottom, man, it's like you're gonna go deaf and blind for about 5-6 seconds. It's the scariest thing ever, man, I tell you. Scariest thing ever.
They could do a 30 for 30 on the Shelby Powell, man. It would be awesome.
It's the scariest thing ever.
Oh man, Joe Hughes. Hey, Joe was watching. All right, so he chimes in. South Point is a much different team than we saw early on. New quarterback and shuffled offensive line. So, okay. So maybe that's why South Point might have been throwing it more. I don't know, but I know the quarterback we saw earlier in the season. It wasn't. I see why they ran it a lot. That's what I'll say. But it should be a heck of a football game down at Crest. Some great football being played in Cleveland County this Friday night. Our other game in the west of 3A is number 3 Dudley traveling to number 2 Statesville. Statesville so far in the playoffs has given up 3 points in 3 games, doing their best East Forsyth impression, while just blowing the doors off of Inca, East somebody, I can't see it, and High Brighton. So I know we had a Statesville guy on last week wanting some Statesville love, but they're going to get their match because Dudley is coming in here on fire in their own right, coming off a 36-10 victory over Kings Mountain. What do you guys think on this one?
I believe that'd be a good game, man. Dudley is a traditional. They was 4A for a while, and they won a lot of state championships. Statesville is a team that's always kind of been there. They've been up and down a couple of years, but they have a great tradition that they have there. So those kids are going to be ready to play. They're not going to be intimidated by Dudley, man. I think some games, I feel like Dudley, some of their games, they started out a little slow offensively. I feel like if Statesville can kind of capitalize on those things early in the game, it'd be a good game, man. A lot of Dudley fans seem to think they're just going to run away with it. But, it's the 4th round of the playoffs, man. It's very rare that you see a blowout in the 4th round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and that's something that producer has been saying all night long. The thing with Statesville is kind of like what we talked about with some of these other teams is level of competition. Who have they seen on Dudley's level this season? That's the question. So I'm going to pull up Statesville's schedule on Max Preps to see if they've got anyone on there on the level of a Dudley we could possibly compare them to. So they started out with Carson, South Iredale, North Lincoln, East Lincoln, Fred T. Ford, West Iredale, North Iredale, St. Stephen's, Hickory, Inca, East Lincoln, that's the East team, and then High Brighton. So you go through that list, nobody on there is on the level of Dudley.
But you can count on that one too. There's nobody on Dudley's schedule that's the level of Statesville.
Oh, okay. Well, let's take a look at Dudley's schedule.
Yeah, because I think the only loss Dudley has is the Hillside that was in Durham. So.
Yep. So Dudley, Page, Southeast Guilford, the loss to Hillside you mentioned, High Point Central, Atkins, Ben L. Smith, Northeast Guilford, Rockingham County, Southeast Guilford, Eastern Guilford, North Henderson, Ledford, and then Kings Mountain. So hey, that's a good point.
So all their games been blowouts except for the one game they lost in the first game of the year. So, it's both ways. I know Kenneth can tell you, man, it's not all really about who you play in the regular season, man. I think it's all about the matchups because us and Shelby, historically, we get blamed for not playing people. So it's not really about who you play. I think your regular season schedule, it holds a certain level, but at the same time, man, I feel like it's coaching the matchups that wins playoff games. It's all about coaching the matchups.
All right, well, good stuff right there. You guys got anything else on this one? All right, well, we wish good luck to Dudley and Statesville, and we'll be keeping up with it on the updates. All right, let's go down to 2A. So we got a matchup down at what's the stadium name? Big Shelby?
George Blanton Memorial. Man.
George Blanton Memorial. We got a big matchup. Number 1 Shelby hosting number 4 Reedsville. I think there's been a little bit of discussion about this game online.
Quite a bit, man. Quite a bit. I see it every day. Multiple. They're posting old videos and all kind of stuff. There's a lot of chatter coming out of Reedsville.
I can't wait, man.
All right, Big Shelby, I'll let you go first here.
All right. These games, man, this is I played in this game as a senior, man. This two of the most historic 2A programs in the state, man. They are the back-to-back state champions. We won in 2009 2009, but 2019 when they won. I remember us just walking off the field to wait for us, and they at the top getting ready to play. And we just jogged back and forth talking about we can't wait till we see y'all again. So this matchup has been brewing since about 2014, man. They have a great program, great tradition, but we're not gonna back down for anybody, man. We hold ourselves to a high standard. It's great to have the game at home. We're full strength, man. We're excited. I'm more excited for the kids, man. I've been waiting for this game for years, man, because it's just one of those where it's really to see who feel like they're really the best, man. I know it's easy to talk about it. It's easy to pull up old stats and all this other stuff, man. They call themselves Title Town. Most of their titles was won between 1930 and 1950. I don't think nobody on here was born. But that's neither here or there. But, but this is the games like you want to have on Thanksgiving, man. 2 historic smash mouth football teams. They have a lot of good players. We have a lot of good players, man. I can't wait. I'm super excited, man. And this is the game everybody been wanting to see for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, the hype has been real. I was doing some, research on different sites, about trying to find some stuff on Reedsville. And the thing about it is Reedsville looks a lot like you guys when I look at them on film. I mean, on offense, they have the ability to kind of, spread it out a little bit. They have the ability to, put guys in space and make dynamic plays with their athletes. And then on defense, they have the ability to get stops when they need to get stops. So I definitely see why there's so much excitement around this game because you guys look very similar.
It's the first time Reedsville comes to Shelby. The 2 times we played them in the regular season, played them at Reedsville, and we played them in the state championship twice. They won one, and we lost one.
This is the first time ever they've been to Shelby?
First time ever, man.
Wow.
Time the 2 times we played them early, it was in state championships. They won. I think they won the first one, and we won the second one. Then we played them back to back in 13 and 14 at Reedsville. So,
wow,
yeah, man.
I don't know what the number is, but I bet there's a state championship for Shelby and Reedsville for every year I've been alive. I mean, that's a lot of state championships in history between those 2 programs. We talked about this early in the season when South Point came up to Shelby, that there was no doubt in anyone's mind, there shouldn't have been, that Shelby was going to play lights out versus one of the top 5A teams in the state of South Carolina, because there's so much history and so much pride and so much passion that Shelby plays with. And Reedsville is one of the few schools in North Carolina that can match that. And obviously Coach Webb is on our show. But I would be surprised if Reedsville, knowing how good they are, knowing what their record is, if Reedsville has the dudes to match up with the dudes that Shelby has for 4 quarters. I mean, I said this when I saw them live. Shelby has one of the top defensive fronts that I've seen in several years in the state of North Carolina. That's not just because the defensive line coaches on the show. That is a good defensive line. You saw their quarterback last week in person. You saw their running back, and you saw their offensive line and their wide receiver. Shelby is a complete team. Brandon said it earlier. They're not only super talented, but Shelby is coached extremely well. And why is that? In part because their stinking equipment manager gets pissed off when the PAL doesn't go the way that it's supposed to go. That's how much passion that school has. And I know that Reedsville has all that Title Town or football capital, whatever it is they call themselves, 20-something state championships. but that is a huge game in North Carolina this Friday night, man. That's a fun game to play in. That's a fun game to coach in. I would imagine with those two quality teams coming in.
They wear gold helmets as well, even though there's a little fool's gold, ours is rear gold. But
now, hold on now, Shelby. Don't be getting in trouble tonight, man.
Chris Scott saying the same thing.
Real gold, man. their gold is more so like Notre Dame gold. They're blue and gold, so there's gonna be a bunch of gold helmets out there, man.
Man, I was talking to a producer, at the game last week, and I was saying I would love to see this place talking about, the stadium when it's like really jazzed up because, East Gaston brought a good crowd, but, the game was over pretty much second quarter. So, so I imagine Reidsville's going to bring a huge crowd, and that place is going to be special.
I can't
Friday
wait.
Night.
I'm ready to kick the ball off right now.
I bet you are. I bet you are, man. But I just so you guys know, I did go up and I tried to get a liver mush sandwich, but the line was too long. So
you try to wait at halftime. That's when all the kids get out there, man.
Well, I didn't think kids wanted liver mush, but
some things in life are worth waiting for, Pep.
That's different. You're right. I've never seen a kid eat a liver mush sandwich.
Hey, man.
You know what?
Why do you think all our boys run like that, man?
I was just going to say, that's why that D-line is built different. They grew up on liver mush.
They beat them at halftime. That's how they come out so hard in the second half.
That's
their liver mush in the locker room.
So there you go.
Hot sauce.
All you other teams out there want to win a championship, eat your liver mush. You learned it here. You learned it here.
All right, a couple comments. Elon Sinatra. Thanks for watching, Elon. Reidsville 1-3 all time versus Shelby. Okay. Gary Ashley. Look for a super big crowd at Shelby. It's the super big crowd you got to look out for, man.
Right. Not just a big crowd.
It's super big. Super makes it better.
The matchup's been brewing for a long time, man. Because we kind of got away from 2014. That's when, after that year, is when they started going big 2A, we were little 2A, or we'd go vice versa. So we never got to play each other anymore.
A couple more comments. Joe chiming in. This is much like Spartanburg Gaffney in South Carolina. That's a big deal down there. Also, liver mush puts hair on your chest. So, all right. Well, no, we don't need no visuals. No visuals needed.
Stop.
And Curtis Young also agreeing you're right about liver mush. So, liver mush, a popular topic on Football Focus Weekly. So, if Nisi's Sausage and Liver Mush is watching, we're open to sponsorships.
Chicken wings are too expensive these days.
Right. Exactly.
Somebody charged me $10 for 5 chicken wings.
Oh
my goodness!
Who charged you that?
I will not reveal the name of who did that.
No. That's not right.
That's a crime, man.
I cannot reveal the name. It was not. It was a local food chain. Not a.
All right.
I guess times are hard down here, man.
$2 a wing, bro.
Nah.
Hey,
that ain't right.
Honey lemon pepper, and they gave me hot lemon pepper, so that made it even worse. Got my order wrong, and you overcharged.
You supposed to eat those and then say you got it wrong and then get your correct wings for free. That's how you get it back.
I got it free regardless.
All right, well there you go. All right. Oh, Curtis Young also. Our kids get liver mush biscuits if they make it to Thanksgiving week.
Yeah. Curtis Young is that's my guy, man. He's the linebacker coach over at Crest. Another guy that played for Crest, won state championships with Crest, coach for Crest, man. So. Hey, liver mush run deep down here, man.
That's the key to success. That's why Cleveland County is good at football. I see now. Never knew.
It costs $3 for me on Saturday to get Knox a slice of liver mush at our local favorite restaurant. $3.
$3?
Good.
What?
Hey, Pep, if y'all ever come down here, man, y'all need to go to this spot. Either go to Shelby Cafe or Candy Mary's, man. You get you a piece of liver mush about that thick.
Is it $3?
Nah, it ain't $3, man. You can get it about $1.50, $2.
All right.
Max though, you got not Nieces. You got to get Max Liver Mush. Max Liver Mush is funded and owned in Shelby.
Well, Chris Scott must be connected with you because he just said the same thing.
Chris Scott's from Chevy, man. He's from Chevy, played at Chevy, man.
Got you.
You know, everybody
Okay.
knows, man. Gotta be the max.
Well, Karen's saying to get liver mush at Jay Bird's Burger Joint in Mint Hill.
Karen, no disrespect. I'm in here. Real live muscles and Chevy.
Liver much rivalry. Okay.
Oh, boy. Off topic, but real quick since you commented, Blaine Deese, will you cover high school basketball?
Only one
I-
no.
I will cover Harding Rams home games. I will film highlights, and they'll be on Instagram and maybe on Facebook, depending on if I have time to get them on there. So if your team plays Harding at Harding, you'll have some highlights. That's all I can promise you. But thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, Blaine. Appreciate it. All right. On the other side of the 2A West bracket, the team that Shelby Reedsville winner will play is Maiden and East Surrey. So we talked a little bit about their games earlier. Obviously, one of the things that was discussed about Maiden was, are they physical enough to handle Salisbury's physicality, which obviously they were. So them making the trip to East Surrey showed last week they can play some defense, holding Monroe to 9 points when they're usually known, for their, offensive ability running, the air raid under Coach Lohman. So what do you guys think about this matchup here?
That'd be a great matchup, man. Maiden has an outstanding receiver, and Chris Culliver got multiple D1 offers, man. East Surrey is led by Folger Boaz, man. Just another Boaz in the program. Light it up for guys, man. So I feel like that'd be a great – I want to see which defense shows up, man, because Maiden can put up points and East Surrey can put up points. So I feel like it's going to all be about which defense can show up, because Maiden did it last week and East Surrey did it last week. So it's going to be good to see both teams both like to throw the ball around, like to run it a little bit too. So that'd be a great two-way, man.
Absolutely. You guys got any other thoughts on Maiden and East Surrey? I know we don't really get to East Surrey or Maiden, so great matchup.
It'd be too well to a football team.
Absolutely. All right. So that being said, now we're going to move on to a different topic here. We're going to pull up for reference the HB 91 situation. So that's House Bill 91. If you hadn't been keeping up, that's when all the NCHSAA controversy stuff was going. They've modified, the bill some, but it was signed by Governor Cooper. So now this is going to happen. And I'm going to share the article, but I'm going to let Kenneth talk about this a little bit, and then we'll kind of play off of that. So Kenneth, what were your thoughts when you saw this come into being?
Well, I briefly read through what the bill itself said. It doesn't say a whole lot. It says that there's going to be an appeals process, and there are going to be fees, and they're going to be the governing body, and they're going to have a this and a that and a this and a that. And Pep, we talked about this on the show. There is no one who wants the government out of my life more than I do, maybe. But we also talked about how the North Carolina High School Athletic Association had not been living up to their mission statement to lead and to govern 427 schools in the state of North Carolina. Big question marks that I have right now is they had talked about getting rid of, say, parochial schools from playing inside the public school organization, the Charlotte Catholics, the Cardinal Gibbons, two schools that we've already mentioned on this show tonight. When is that going to happen? Is that going to happen? And if that's going to happen, that means they're going to have to do another realignment. And that's going to shake up things. New conferences are going to be drawn up. And we've talked about this. There are schools who are not happy about their conference alignment. We talked about this with the playoffs and North Stanley basically being screwed because of the conference that the North Carolina High School Athletic Association put them in. There have also been question marks about charter schools, for example. Should charter schools who can basically recruit, should they have to play up a division? That's been something that's been discussed for several years. Should a 1A charter school have to play a 2A league? Those are questions that are going to be raised. Questions about the appeals. We've talked about this. When you appeal to the state who sets down a suspension, for example, you're appealing to the organization who suspended you in the first place. It's kind of like my kids coming up to me 5 minutes after I tell them, no, you can't have that. Dad, can I have that? The answer is still no, dude. Like I just told you that. There are so many questions. How quickly is this going to happen? Is it going to be completely political, meaning that the North Carolina General Assembly is going to appoint all of these different committees? And is that what North Carolina representatives and North Carolina senators really want to be spending their time doing? Is that what we, the people who elected them to go to Raleigh, want them to be doing, sitting around and talking about some JV basketball game that happened last Thursday? And there's nothing that's been sent out. The state hasn't sent out anything, obviously, to athletic directors and principals because they're not very happy about this. I think Q Tucker's, I'll leave that alone with some of her comments. But there's nothing else that's really been said about that. And this has really flown under the radar. I don't think that a lot of people realize that the governor was even going to sign this week. There's just nothing we know other than the potential for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association to be either disbanded entirely or having a large chunk of their powers removed from them.
Yeah, I'm going to bring in the illustrious who is now joining us. What's up, folks? What's up, Big Billups?
Just getting on with boxing practice.
I don't do all that stuff, man. I'm old, man. I'm 37. I had to do some dead duties.
So
got that G stuff on. What's up? What we
talking
about?
It looks good. We're talking about HB 91 that was just signed by the governor.
No, Kim did a great job. I heard he did a great job. I watched rap. I don't like Sting and WWE Sting. No, my fault. WWF. Chilling the rafters. Yeah,
we know wrestling very well, so I know exactly what you mean. So the big thing. Go ahead.
No, Kim's nailed on the head. Me, since I'm currently still coaching, I really don't want to speak on it, but I believe in everything being fair and across the board. Kim is the good thing about McLaren Rocky. I will tell y'all about this is he's been on the opposite side, and he knows what the folks who want to say something we really can't say. So he's speaking from that point of view. So I would tell everybody who thinks he just be on here ranting and raving because he's disgruntled. There's a lot of people who appreciate Kenneth and everything he says. So Kenneth know how I feel about the situation. People who've been around me, they know how I feel about the situation. We want everything to be fair. I'm in a school right now that we don't get treated equally, right? Look at us during football season. It took 4 games in for it to get a change to be switched and to be made the right way. But I think all I want to see, and the coaches who really do this for the kids. I'm not taking shots. Everybody got their own thing that drives them, but I really do everything that I do for the kids. And I really would like to see things be equally fair. And even for them schools that apply for this right effect, I think some of them understand where we come from as a public institution. It's not fair. We're not allowed to recruit, but it's not fair. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents on,
Now, I think Coach Billups brings up some excellent points as far as that equality and the equitability and the eligibility that now those local representatives from the east side of Charlotte, from Eastway, from Sugar Creek, now they can go to Raleigh and they can fight for their communities that they've been elected to serve on more than just a political level and infrastructure and that kind of stuff. But now they can fight for their schools to get the proper fund and the proper resources and the other things that they need to be on fair footing with other schools across the state and for the kids inside of those schools.
Yeah, it's I work in the CMS, and I don't think things are fair. School A should not have more benefits than school B, C, and D. And I think you see that. People think we get on here and we rant and rave and just try to stir the pot. No, it's all about equality. I There's a bunch of wonderful people at Garinger who are elected officials who want to see G be successful. There's people at Harding. There's people at West Charlotte. There's people at Berry. All these schools that I can name a bunch of schools like that. We all sit here and talk about high school sports and stuff like that. But you look at middle school, Eastway Middle is terrible how they're doing Eastway Middle. That's just my point of view. And I think we need to do what's right for these kids. We always talk about what the future of this and stuff like these. These are future leaders and stuff like that. We gotta look out for the Hispanic community, the people who come over here from overseas, from like Africa and stuff like that. They don't even have people they can communicate with because they don't speak English. English is not their first language. That ESL program really needs to be revamped. We need to get more people who can understand it. Like, there are kids who speak Mandarin and other languages. They don't know how to communicate with people, and they don't have people who advocate for them because they don't know how to do it. I know this is a high school sport show, but if you want to be honest with you, the quality fault, it runs deep. Like, there's some kids that are failing school because they just don't understand. They don't have the meaning. They're kids who don't know where they're gonna live at. They sleep on a floor. Best case scenario, they got a couch or they got an air mattress. But we gotta be humane and stuff like that. And so that's why I am. Everybody think I'm just a loudmouth coach and stuff like that. No, I'm an advocate. I've been to third world countries and stuff like that. There should not be nobody in America living like they're in a third world country. And we got a lot of people in this great city of Charlotte. That's why people think Charlotte coaches are so loud and we're so without respect. But that's the lay of the land over here in Charlotte. That's how we do. Me being from West Side, that's what I do. I'm a loud person, but that's my community. That's my area.
Well, the hope here is with HB 91 that the government can kind of oversee the NCHSAA and step in when there may be some things that may not be fair, like you're talking about in some of those situations, and have that oversight. Queen, did you have something you wanted to add in on this?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think this, might be good for the NCHSA, whether they want to believe it or not, because, like you guys are saying, like, this will give, these schools, a higher, I guess, level of accountability, because I feel like, with everything that we've seen so far, working through the pandemic and all that, they've kind of missed the mark, on some things. So, I think that, this is ultimately going to be, a better situation for these students. And like you guys said, holding more people accountable, because these kids need that. Like, this has nothing to do with,
we hold them accountable.
Like we need to get some people in here that, can sort of help, build some accountability and all that, just within these confines. And so yeah.
Yeah, so the big part of this is they have the ability to basically veto the NCHSAA when they feel like they need to step in and do that. There'll be an independent appeals board, Kenneth, talking about the appeal situation, and that appeals board will be based off of the Board of Education. So there will be a separate, appeals board for this, which, is one of the big things that, we all feel like needed to be addressed, obviously with the current setup.
With the Board of Education members, make sure you got the right people representing your communities and stuff like that. And I should give people a chance because, like I told you, there are people who over our district at Garinger, and they really want to see Garinger be successful. And there's a huge group of people who want to see the East. I've been telling people it's a new G code, and it's not just because I'm over there. It's you got people who really want to advocate for these schools and our urban schools. They are the foundation. The urban schools are the foundation of most areas, and especially in Charlotte. There's a rich history of urban schools. Harding and West Charlotte are like two of the oldest high schools in the area in North Carolina. If you want to be honest with you. So, and Darrington got rich history. You know, I've been learning about the willow tree. I didn't know that. My ex-wife, boy, she'll tell me everything you need to know about Darrington. And that's why I say so much pride history. I think Shelby got a lot of rich history, and that's why I have to do so much talking for Shelby. It's a lot of history, and that's why I do so much talking for West Charlotte. Even though I don't coach over there, it's a lot of rich history. Now, you tell you from Shelby, over there during spitting tobacco and stuff like that. But tell you old country boy.
All right, well, that's good stuff, and we'll see how that HB 91 progresses as things get developed and worked out between the NCHSAA and the State Government Board of Education. But now it is Thanksgiving. Last year I kind of did this by myself, but I want to give everyone a chance to give thanks, and I'll go ahead and I'll start with, let's just go down the line. All right, Kenneth, who do you want to give thanks to on this Thanksgiving?
Yeah, a lot of you guys will probably give some I don't know, familial stuff or something, but I was at Food Line the other night. I put this on Facebook. I was at Food Line the other night, Saturday night. My wife and my boys went with me to the Charlotte football game. Only brought my debit card into the game, left my wallet, somewhere else. When I got home, my debit card was still in my pants pocket. So I put it on the kitchen table. I'll put it in my wallet tomorrow morning, no big deal. Well, Sunday night comes around, and I have to run to the store to get some Sundrop and some liver mush for breakfast. And long story short, I had a $75 bill. I went to pull out my money and realized I did not have my card. Now, I'm a little bit older than you guys are, so I wasn't quite down on the Google Pay. It's since been downloaded on my phone. But I didn't have a way to pay. That's $75 worth of stuff. I'm looking around trying to figure out how to download this Google Pay thing on my phone. But there were customers waiting behind me, and this guy says, "Man, how much does he owe?" And I looked, he has a pack of gum in his hand. And I said, "Brother, it is way too much for you to pick up. Thank you, but it's $75. And he goes, "You know what, man? I got it. I'm in position to where I can afford to help somebody out." And this guy had long, stringly hair. He had a long beard. He was dressed like not someone who you would anticipate or preconceived thoughts that he would be willing to help a stranger out. I tried to get his Venmo account. I could Venmo him the cash right then and there, but he said, "Brother, just remember this next time you see someone in need." So, I'm thankful that there are still people out there who are willing to look out on behalf of other people. We see the stories of people turning the other way when bad things are happening, but those are not the majority of people. The majority of people are still willing to look out for people in need or in a bad situation. So whoever you were, stranger, and a tip of the hat to you, thank you. He wouldn't let me get his number or anything like that. So I got home $75 richer, I guess.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. It's great to see there are still, good Samaritans out here. And, especially in 2021 with everything crazy that's been going on, man. That's excellent. Producer, who do you want to give thanks to?
I think I'm going to just kind of make a blanket statement. I think, we as people in our lives, we kind of get caught up on and focusing on the things in our lives that we wish were better. We wish we could do this. We wish we had that. We want to work towards this. So I'm just going to, in general, just say I'm thankful for the things I do have, my career, my health, my family, and things like that. And, my CFI family as well. I'm thankful to be a part of this operation, been here since the start and, glad to be a part of it as it grows, and thankful for also the people that tune in every week that help keep us going.
It's well said, man. Well said. Big Billups, what are you thankful for, man?
Everybody know, if you really do know me, because a lot of people say they know me, but they really don't know me. I'm really thankful for my two beautiful daughters, Emery a door. Oh man, they helped change my life, helped shape me, and made me the man that I am, and I continue to grow to aspire to be. Um, Really thankful for Principal Bracy, Sean Galloway, all my people at Garrison, and for giving me a shot, because a lot of people don't give people like me, especially how I used to be, loud, outrageous, and always doing. But I'm really grateful for them to give me a chance. My brother Pep, man, he always have my best interest. He don't let me do nothing after woodwork's crazy. He reminds me of a lot of my mother. My mother is just that person. I'm grateful for my children's mothers. Grateful for all the football players that have made an impact on my life, and I made an impact on. I'm just grateful for everybody. Grateful for the show, man. I met somebody, father, Jackson Bass, daddy coach, D lineman for Vance. Met his dad at North Met versus Garrison game, and just having genuine conversations. So, Pep, you don't think the show had a lot of reach, but man, they tell me all the time how grateful they are for this show and stuff like that. All the friendships. So I'm just grateful for everybody.
Thank you, brother. Well said, man. Big Shelby.
I'm grateful for Shelby. Shelby to go to line.
But nah, man, I just want to say I'm thankful. I'm thankful just to be here every day, man. I'm thankful that God chooses me as one of the people that get to wake up every day and continue to get to do the things that I want to do, man. I'm thankful for my parents. My parents are very supportive in me and my dreams and aspirations. I'm thankful for the coaching staff that I work with. It's a great group of guys, man. A lot of them coach me, and with me just coming in and implementing my knowledge and things like that, man, it's great that I get to wake up every day and get to do a get to job, not a want to job. I get to coach Shelby. I get to leave my legacy. That's Shelby High coaching, man. I'm thankful for the show. This show has let me reach people I've never met. It allows me to display my knowledge about coaching or just things in general like that. It allows me the platform allows me to showcase my talent. I see people all the time. They say just thank you for being on the show, talking about kids, giving good insight. So I know without this show, I won't be able to meet you guys. I appreciate you guys coming to Shelby supporting us, man. I really love the support that I receive and my city receives, man. It's just thankful because although I talk to my friends, they always asking, they say, "What's your word for the month?" I know I told them perspective. Like you gotta look at things from perspective. There's some people that go through things in life, but it's a lot worse for somebody else, man. Somebody can lose their job and they're fine, but somebody else can lose their job and now they wonder how they can feed their kids. So it's just one of those things about putting things in perspective and being thankful and blessed, man. I'm just happy to be a part of this show.
Boy, look at my boy growing up, boy. Y'all know, boy, I love that boy. Like, he knows my brother-in-law, and I treat him just like I don't tell Adam this or not. I treat him just like he's my brother. And I got a lot of brothers. I love that dude, man. You be making me mad every now and then, but boy, I'm proud of you, boy.
All right, Queen, your turn.
So I am thankful for the year 2021. This entire year, I've always been a person that's, sort of been afraid of change. I don't like it, and this year, I've gone through a lot of it, and some of it was easy, some of it wasn't easy, but it has made me who I am, and I've been able to grow just as an individual, with you guys, without you guys. So I'm just thankful for the whole year. Thankful for you guys. You make me look good on this show every week. And that's not really easy to do. So I appreciate y'all. Appreciate my family, for sure. Being able to, have a better relationship with them this year. One of my brothers had a new baby, so that's something else I get to do. I'm so excited to go over to my other brother's house tomorrow, so I get to play with these babies all day. So just thankful for all of that. So yeah.
Got your grandma glasses on though, but I feel you. My fault, big bats.
God, naughty. Seriously.
That's it.
Miss Tanya Perry, thankful for all of you and all the work you all put into the program each week and for the opportunities this program extends to hardworking and deserving athletes. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you so much for saying that, Miss Perry. That means a lot. That means a lot. Queen, you got a comment from my friend Nikisha supporting you.
Appreciate that.
Look, he had to go put a dip in under his lip.
Man, I don't dip, man. I'm getting over cold. I'm getting over cold.
You a bad
Come on,
boy.
Bella. You know I don't dip, man. I don't do those things, man. I'm getting over cold, so I've been drinking a lot of water. I've been spitting a lot.
Oh, that's why you
It is not professional.
You're
just spitting on camera.
like mine. This is water. This is hydration and good vibes, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's not good to be spitting on camera with this high profile show. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to damage the brand.
Hey, look. I come on here, he get all nervous. I was in the backstage for like 3 minutes because he was looking. Pep always look. He do a search. He said, "Boy, let me make sure he's straight."
Well, we appreciate you not damaging the brand. We need this Reese's endorsement. So
we working on it. I told him go get some yak endorsement.
Well, before this continues, I will go ahead and give my thanks before they get off the rails.
Here you go, guys.
All right, so I really do want to thank everybody, that watches this show and supports, CFI and Football Focus Weekly. We do this, and I've said this a couple times before. It's a labor of love. I don't really pay anybody, to be a part of this. I try to give some things when I can, but it's really appreciated. I thank all of you guys that come on here every week. It means, the world to me. I'm thankful for, my career, my coworkers. Some of them do watch the show. Then I forget that when I come in Thursday mornings and they're laughing at me and they say something that, they watched. And I'm like, oh, yeah, some of y'all are on my Facebook. So, I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for my family, my brother, and my mom. Despite anything that goes on in my life, they've been very supportive. I'm thankful for all of the players that believe in our brand and come to our camps. It's a special feeling when I see these guys working out or going somewhere and they've got their CFI camp shirts on. That really means a lot to me. That means that we've made an impact in their life and they care enough to, wear that. That's special. It's been a tough year for a lot of us with COVID, and a lot of things have happened since the last time that I did this, giving thanks. And I thank some specific people last year for helping me get my start into this whole high school football thing. If you watched the show last year, you can go see who those people are. I don't want to, say anything about them again. But anyways, I appreciate everybody. I really appreciate everyone that sees this and continues to support, CFI and everything that we do. We're going to keep trucking for as long as we can, which, right now I think it looks like we're going to be going for a little while. So thank you guys.
Keep on trucking. We went back in the time
Right.
machine.
Keep trucking, man. Stay prayed up out here, man. It's a world full of people that don't want to see us be successful.
Who don't want to see us be
Oh, there's people. There's
People that talk bad about
You want to know
CFI.
something good? You want to know something good about good old Coach Phillips? I don't pay attention because I'm at a school where people say you go there to die, and I'm resurrecting, and I'm having a good old time doing it.
Hey, man, I got a question. When you said that's a good friend of yours about the lady that commented on the Queen, what did you mean?
Hey, we don't talk about his relationship status or his dating status on the show no more because this is not Pep and Love. This is CFI. We try to make an SFI.
This is CFI after dark.
Is that like BET Uncut?
Absolutely not.
We try to make a Shelby football insider so you can talk about whatever you want to, but you didn't want to talk about it. So where you
See, this is what you have done, Big Shelby. This is what you have done right here. You see this? I mean, come on, man. And Nikisha is a friend of mine that supports CFI.
Okay,
that's what she is.
I got you.
Good gracious,
so,
man.
You know how Kenneth did you last week? He read, I transpire. I'll tell you what you mean. Nikisha, you're a very dear-hearted friend that he holds close to his heart, and he appreciates everything you do for him. And also,
I ain't know if we was on the goal line with it on the first play of the game, trying to hit a big play. I don't know, man. I'm just making sure my guy Pep. It's the silk shirt that got the ladies, man. You put that silk shirt on. One night, nobody here.
Oh yeah, I remember.
He put that silk shirt on.
Hold up.
Now all of a sudden, the views are through the roof.
A silk shirt, like a 90s R&B singer type.
It was not a silk shirt. It was black.
Hey, producer had the button up top so you can see his chest.
Oh man, like the Rock used to wear them back on Raw, like in '98. I remember those.
Hey, Billups, no undershirt, and he had some of that.
What are you talking about?
The undershirt, and he had. Hey, look, before y'all got on, he had some of that juke and put some of that juke on.
The go live online. I put okay.
He had a handball necklace on.
I'm sure he did.
Pep, what are you doing? You okay?
Kenneth, do the boys want to say anything? Your boys want to say anything, Kenneth? I see you getting over.
Nah.
He like.
Thank you, Kenneth. Good Lord, what in the world?
Hey, Kenneth, let your boys know my Shelby kids are ready for the rematch, man. They want to come see the McClam Rock boys. They want to see the McClam Rock boys back there in the end zone.
Because of you guys' tomfoolery, we have a lot of comments to address now.
So you got
mercy.
So you buried right with the perm or Luther with the bad perm? Which one?
I don't know what he's talking about. Coach Dean, thankful for the way you guys show love to all the players and coaches in the city. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. Miss Moten, I'm late, but happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Miss Moten. Thank you for watching as always.
Boy, make sure you post that one they said Big Shelby because I think he's right.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Steve Zykowski, happy Thanksgiving.
Wow, you know how to say names, don't you? Goodness gracious.
I would have murdered that. I would say Steve.
I would say Steve Zay.
Yeah.
He's a very good player for Porter Ridge. That's how I know him.
Is that which one? Is he not
Number 5.
Oh, I heard a lot of good things about you, young man. You got a lot of people who respect your game. I heard a lot of great things. That's good.
Mm-hmm. JJ, CFI Crew's best in the area. Thank you, JJ. Appreciate that.
JJ got another comment for you. Hold on, Big Shelby, before you get all. He got one special for you.
Miss Burlos, we appreciate you all. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you, Miss Burlos. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
That's good kid, boy.
Yes. Jason Bass, CFI has definitely helped in my son's recruitment. Thankful for what you all bring to the community in the game of high school football. I've met 3 of the 6 members. Need to find a way to run into other 3.
Ain't hard to find, man. You come down there and find them black lines and that lemon bus, baby. That's where I'm at.
I thought y'all was golden line.
I said find them black lines. Producer, no, it's a different Chevy when you come down there and playoffs, baby. We got that Bermuda grass done changed colors.
Bermuda.
The Bermuda done changed colors. We got the black lines, got the liver musk sandwiches. And Pat Man and Brandon, my guys was ready for the interview post game. They just leave.
Hold up.
It was 50-7.
Hey, Bill, I got my guys all week. I got them training how to answer questions.
Pep and Brandon, I had to defend y'all. So Webb went in our chat. He said, Bill, why I can get liver musk sandwich because Pep and Brandon bought 25 liver musk sandwiches. I hold up, I defended y'all.
What?
Hold up, Pep. I said, that's big guys. Of course they can't eat one. I said, man, you better leave them alone.
Hey, he lied.
Big Shelby lying on us in the chat, huh?
Not
He said,
25
y'all
though.
ate
25.
25 liver mush sandwiches.
Hey, Bill, I've been seeing all these great CFI post-game interviews with all these great teams and coaches and programs, and if one game they come to, my God, don't
Why,
get
you
no
want to
exposure.
interview?
That's the price of success. It was
You want
50.
to interview?
Well, it's karma for lying on us in the chat, so there you go.
Hey,
You want-
Bill,
you want
I text him. Y'all still here? No, we left at halftime. Goodness gracious.
We left in the middle of the third quarter.
It was,
There you go.
it was no longer a competitive matchup, man.
Bill,
We had,
then they get the camera, and don't even take a picture of Coach with.
Because they say he was in the booth.
Producers on the camera. I'm on the video.
nah, it's a picture of him in there, man. You got to look again. It's a
Man, what,
picture of
give me
you in
that
there, man.
tobacco, man. What you got? Some some wintergreen?
Nah,
Big league
Nikisha
food, man.
Ricks, happy Thanksgiving. You are all amazing. You bring such knowledge and entertainment and support to the show and our kids. Thank you, Nikisha. Appreciate that. Karen Bill, happy Thanksgiving to you all. Thanks for the best local high school football show.
Yes,
Man.
you bet.
You might see that again somewhere.
We don't put you to sleep.
Oh, Lord.
Moving on.
Okay.
What's wrong with that? Can you quote what JJ said to Big Shelby, please?
I'm
Who is JJ?
I'll just let y'all read it.
Hey, JJ, one thing about me, baby, can't get scared of something you done beat before.
Ooh.
Well, all right.
When I'm speaking on when I played, we walked in y'all trap 49-3, baby.
What do you mean by the word trap? Like a bear trap?
Their place that they call work, but it seemed like they weren't really working on that night.
Oh, you talking the hood version of trap?
I will say this, not to hurt any Reedsville fans. Last two matchups, they haven't scored an offensive touchdown. So I'm just
All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our giving thanks segment that turned into trying to
Throwing shade.
yes, and that was always a good thing. So now it's that time once again.
Keep on trucking.
Nope. Slime time with Kenneth. Let's go.
You already know what time it is. It's the last slime before you sit down and you eat some extra slime. What do they call it? Cranberry sauce at your Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow night. Let's start off with the royalty first. The queen. Who are you sliming on tonight?
So I'm sliming my boss, Vincent at Japan 49. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. Vincent knows I'm just competing with him. But listen, so we're actually closed tomorrow. So I'm actually cool on that. But that's the only day of the year that restaurant is closed. And it's like, I know y'all about making money and all that stuff. But y'all, they work so hard. You know why I'm sliming him? I'm sliming him because they work so hard and he works so hard. That man literally does everything in that building. And he be needing some time off. And I feel so bad for him, but that's just that's their culture. That's how they are. And so I'm sliming him for that because I feel like he deserves to have more time off.
I don't feel like you finished saying what you wanted to say there, Queen. You know what? Let's go to the Pet Man, our fearless leader. Who's sliming tonight?
I'm sliming Big Shelby because I got certain people watching this show now, and you really trying to cause some problems. So that's all I'm going to say on that. I was going to slime traffic out here in Gaston County, but Big Shelby, you're really causing me some problems. I got text messages now with questions that you have caused a major issue in my life. So you get the slime, sir.
You know what, Big Shelby? We're going to come to you. Who are you going to slime? Speaking of.
I'm sliming the Pet Man for trying to put his internal affairs on me. Can't mix business with pleasure. Rule number 1.
You brought it up. You ain't have to bring nothing up. Everything was good, and we like Big Billups say, stay on the bullet point. The bullet point was giving thanks. not who is Nikisha and are we in the stadium going for first down. On topic.
It's even funnier when you repeat it.
I got you.
Who's next?
You know what? The producer. We're going to come back to you. Who are you slamming tonight?
Man, I know I do a lot of Panther related slimes, man, but that whole defense got to get slimed, man. You know, it's a big moment, monumental moment in Panther history. We got Cam's home game, homecoming, and they just ruined it, man. They got all just ran around, ran through, deep balls going over their head. The defense just did not look like this, you know, high profile defense that, you know, they started to look like earlier in the season, man. They just look bad, and I know they're better than that. That's why they deserve to get slimed. I mean, they had Heineke, you know, out there looking like Tom Brady, and it's unacceptable. So I hope they have a better showing this Sunday. But Panther defense for this week, you're slimed.
I agree. You know what? I'm going to stay. I know we got Coach Billups left. I'm going to stay with the Panthers. You know, at some point, a coaching staff has to hold itself accountable. And I'm not throwing any shade on any coaching staff. I'm not saying that I know more about any other coaching staff because they're the ones who's put in the work and then the man in the arena. But there's something that has to be said about bringing in Cam Newton. I thought he played his butt off. He played way better than I thought that he was going to play. But a man who's only been with the team for 9 days and you knowingly put him in a 2-minute type situation with an opportunity to win the game, knowing that being realistic, that Joker has 30 or 40% of the playbook under wraps. He doesn't have the 2-minute playbook down pat. He hasn't worked 2-minute drills with his teammates. He hasn't worked the communications with his offensive line during a 2-minute drill. And you've got a man who's been in your system for 2 years, a man who started and played really well the previous week versus the Arizona Cardinals, who not only did not take a single snap the entire game, but who stood on the sideline with a quarterback who was admittedly, by the offensive coordinator before the game, they had to leave enough time for them to give him the play to tell to the team, reading off of his wristband. And then Joe Brady was in his ear reminding him what his read progression is, who he's reading, is all those intricacies and nuances. I think that shows a lack of leadership on the Panthers coaching staff. The defense didn't play well. The defense was left in a lot of bad positions Sunday. So I'm slamming Matt Rule and his entire offensive coaching staff for not looking out for Cam Newton and the Panthers and this community better in the fourth quarter. And with that, the illustrious one, shut us down tonight, man.
Well, you know, I haven't talked about my wonderful Miami Hurricanes this year.
For a reason.
And there is a reason. His name is Manny Diaz. I'm slamming Manny Diaz. Man, please pack your office up. It's like Kanye West said in his interview with the Drink Champs. You just need to pack your home up and be on the move, because I want you gone. I want you gone ASAP. I'm also want to slime all the 49er fans. Don McVay. Don McVay, me and you going to have some words. Because I don't know what it is with you and the 49ers. How you can't win that game with Kyle Shanahan, but you don't work with his daddy. Boy. You hear me? And you don't make me mad. I don't know why you put Odell out there with him only being there for 2 days. I know we lost Robert Woods. You said he was going to play the third receiver. I don't even know his name. But Lord Jesus, can you please do something? Fire Raheem Morris. I don't know. I hate it that high. I don't know why you hired him. I'm tired. We got one of the best defense on paper ever assembled. And you can't beat the 49ers. You are killing me. And any more Niners fans who don't talk to me on a regular basis, text me and DM me like y'all did after y'all whoop us up like that, we don't have a issue. So I'm slamming the Miami Hurricanes. I want Manny gone. I want Cristobal to come home. Cristobal, please come home. I know it's a tough league order, but please, Cristobal, please take the job.
All right. That being said, we wish y'all all a happy Thanksgiving. Once again,
Reed,
thank
I
you.
got Webb all concerned because he over there watching film. He's doing the whole game, the whole time.
Watching the show, man.
No, not. He switched. I know how these technology phones work. Just because we a little older than you, young buck, we know how it is. You swipe it, whatever y'all young folks.
I don't watch enough MREs.
These technology phones.
These old techie phones.
That being said, happy Thanksgiving. Good night, everybody. Be safe shopping Black Friday.
I ain't going. Don't go out on Black Friday.
Online,
Better have a
Amazon.com.
nice right hook or left hook.
They selling those new Jordans on the floor tomorrow. Be careful.
Oh man.
Here we go. Always talk. See, I don't talk bad about Shelby and y'all little cornfield. You gotta bring up the Great Baby Ford Road. Why? What did we do?
In tradition, the last comment comes from Karen Belk. Enjoy the great college games. Thanks, State North Carolina's on Friday night.
Whoa.
Good night, everybody. I'm not putting that on the screen.
It's already on the screen.
Good night.
It's already on the screen.
If I have the dog, man.